Alright, so we get to round one here. I'm going to try and make this very quick. This is round one with my blue and black draft in triple DKA. Let's fast forward this. If you didn't see there what happened, I had to actually mulligan all the way down to 5 cards. So this was my opening hand. I got the first play. It's not good. If I had the 2-cost Geist, it would be better. Just gotta hope to hit that third land before turn 3 so I can stay in this. Opponent starts out with Sanctuary Cat. Not a really good card, usually just a filler, and more surprisingly, he hits off a second Sanctuary Cat. It says that his deck is not very strong if he has to use 2 spots for these cats. Did top deck the third land I needed for the Geist. Geist can only block flyers, so I have no need to leave it at home. I'm just going to be able to attack through every turn. Now he plays a third land. I see he's in all 3 colors, usually not a strong thing to do in a draft. This one does have Evolving Wild, so you can make up for that. And I see these 3 colors. I'm thinking that he is very heavy on red, and he has the 2 burn spells with the white flashback and the black flashback. And that's why he's got that available. But he does play the Vampire Captain. Not a great play. You would just hope that he was very heavy vampires to be running this. I'm just feeling that his deck is not very strong, but either way I have no blocking abilities. I am going to have to swing through, and I leave my mana open at this point in time instead of casting the second one because I have this Sea Skite available. I'm thinking that he's going to attack through with the Vampire Lord. You see now he plays a Chosen. That's going to be very powerful if he can get that to flip on the next turn. If he does decide to leave it at home, then he's going to be able to do that, but he does actually decide to attack through with that, so I am going to be able to play off my bird and kill off the Vampire Lord, which significantly decreases the power of this Chosen. Get land number 5, but do not have the available dead creature for Relentless Scabs. This deck was very heavy on Undying, so all I'm going to be able to do is attack through and play the Geist. I could have left the Sea Skite available to chump block on these guys. I decided that I wanted to be a little more aggressive. He did play a Vault of the Archangel, kind of an interesting card to play, but can be very powerful as soon as he gets that 5th land into play, which he will do now. Thankfully for me, it's Evolving Wilds, so it takes him an extra turn, and Evolving Wilds. Now he plays Chalice of Life, again, just to see it as a filler card. I draw into Black Cat, which is good. I'm going to use that as a sacrifice, so I can get this Scabs into play, on the following turn. So I attack all out, which is going to try and draw the attack from him. He does use the Chalice to kind of keep that all alive. Game 1 was a little more hairy than Game 2. You see, I do use the Black Cat. He's not going to actually be able to kill any of these creatures, so I just block his creature with the highest attack. And he loses a Loyal Cathar. Great thing for my part. I think that's a great creature in this draft, so I'm happy to see it go. Now he does play the Wake Dancer. He got kind of lucky there that one was not discarded. Does get the Morbid off the Black Cat, but I needed it to die so I can get this Scabs into play. Draw into a Griptide. This is a great removal spell, definitely even better because of the zombie token. But we're going to be able to put this guy into play and exile that creature. Did get a little aggressive with this, attacking all out with my flyers, figuring that I do have something, this guy is going to come back bigger and better than ever. I am assuming that he is going to use the Vault here. Which he does. He's down to 4 life, so it's not as powerful, especially less powerful based on these 2 cats are only going to gain him 1 life each. So Scabs dies, but comes back. I am still going to attack with my Geists since they cannot block. I do decide to leave the Sea Skite at home, to block later on. It's going to be a little hairy with all his life gain, but that gives him a lot of potential to gain and flip this Chalice, but I'm going to do what I can. I do the damage I can, and the Griptide's going to completely remove the zombie, since it is a token and will not go to the top of his deck. Plays Collar, another card that you do not see a lot of. I guess it's the better of the equipment spells out there. He equips it to the cat, which makes it a little more troublesome, and plays a Matic, another card that you don't really see often. Got a Tragic Slip. This is going to be good. I'm going to be able to use it to kill off a creature. There's a lot of potential for Morbid here, especially in the fact that he is using the Death Touch ability from the Vault. So block some of the bigger ones. I decided to use it here. You see, I block with the Scab, but in response to the Vault, I use Tragic Slip to give this -1/-1 and make it a 0/2, so that the Scab will not die, and I can play it later on. Draw into the Soul Caesar, get that into play, so that he has no flying blockers. I am going to be able to just block with this Scab, let it die, or take the damage, and he decides to concede because he realizes next turn I will be able to steal it from him. So let's get over here. Yes, this is still mid-draft, so let's get to game number 2. Trying to get these video replays done in between rounds. A little easier in the first round. Here we go. So we move on to round number 2. I did not make any sideboard changes. My opponent immediately hit submit, so he did not have any as well. Starts out with a collar. It's a little troublesome, not so bad. I do have a turn 2 play with the Geist and both colors of mana, so it's a pretty good starting hand. 2 planes does not get his Cathar into play. That's good for me. I will get this Geist into play and start doing damage with that. Hits land drop number 3, still all white. I am at this point realizing that he is very heavy white. That was his main color, and I guess the other 2 were the splashes. But we get the Geist into play, and realize you see his graveyard right here. He was running not just 1 Matic, but 2, so his deck is very, very weak, in my opinion. Probably very light on creatures as well. So let's pass his turn. He gets into play a great card with the Inquisitor. This will be a little troublesome, especially when he gets these equipment attached. It will cause an issue for me. But we use the Reap to get the token, and I'm going to keep attacking through the air and knock off 2 lands from the top of his deck. So you see here, it's his turn. He gets his Vault, actually. A little impressive that he did manage that. Attaches both equipments and attacks. I did use a Tragic Slip to kill that off after blocking with my zombie token. So now, land drop number 5, I am going to flashback this guy because I do not have the mana yet to play my vampire, and the scabs do not have a creature to be eaten. So do that. I am going to attack with the Geist. If he does not block, he's getting 2 more to the grave. If he does block, I now have an opening to play the scabs on the next turn if I need to. Plays another Inquisitor, again, troublesome creature, like I said, a little bit better with these artifacts, the equipment, even though he is running way too many of them. I will play the Relentless Scabs on this point in time. It is at a point where he can block this and trade and come back, so that's always a good thing. Now he plays kind of an interesting, he was playing Grafdigger's Cage main deck. That's actually kind of good against me because I am running so much Undying, but still a very odd choice. It's really a waste of a slot when you come to draft. It's really, having this many equipments in the cage is really not good for your deck. Also wasting 2 spots for the cats, it's just not very strong. He attacks simply with the Spirit. He should have attacked here with the lifelink creature. He would have killed this if I decided to block, and because of the cage it would not come back into play. Attaches his other equipment. I draw into a great Mind Crusher here. It's a really good play. Works kind of good with the Geists and the Scours and whatnot. So I'm going to attack. He's going to block with his token. No way to kill this off. I was willing to trade these 2, and he was going to go out 5 lives, but it would get that 5 life, but it would have gotten that Inquisitor off the board. Decided to play the Vampire. It's not big enough to kill it, but I actually made a misplay here. I kind of forgot about the cage. You will see it here. He does attack. I double block to kill it, but then get a little confused as to why my Vampire does not come back into play. But that's okay. We will play this guy. We will get this Mind Crusher into play. He does come in untapped, which is fantastic. We knock off some cards from the top. You see yet another Inquisitor. That's kind of, I understand a little more, why he's built this deck the way he did, but still not great. So the attacking through with this, he's not going to be able to do much. He's at a lot of life here, so it knocks him down to 24. But he didn't want to trade his tokens. I understand. Gets a red mana source finally, but no black, so I'm very happy about that. Plays a Warlord. This is a great card. He's going to be able to make these unblockable, but decides not to attack. Maybe a misplay on his part. So we get another Sea Kite. Great thing for later when I'm chump blocking these spirits. He will attach all of his equipment to the Warlord, which is great. The right move because it makes it a more troublesome creature, but it does allow me the opening to play this Sea Kite and block one of the Spirit tokens. Getting a little land flooded. We are kind of in that mid game. I attack through with the Mind Crusher, still at this point in time forgetting about the cage. Had he decided to block that, this would not have come back, and it would have been a lesser play, but I had forgotten about the cage at that point in time. Did not realize it until actually after the game, and I replayed this to see why the Vampire did not come back. But he might have wanted to trade there. He's not getting the draws, so I'm more than happy to let him take the 5 damage. He attacks through with the Warlord. I block with the Scabs, thinking it's going to die and come back. Unfortunately, this will not be the case. That's just going to die because of the cage again. And now he decides to concede. It's an interesting thing. I don't know why he did it. Maybe he forgot about the cage himself. Game was tied at 10. I did have a blocker to kill off the Warlord later, and I would have been able to, he would have blocked this guy, but he would have bought himself a couple turns. But, hey, it goes in my favor. So, on to round 2.